Hello everyone and welcome to another Mission Makers vlog. Today's episode is called Stealth and You. Stealth missions are a little bit trickier to make than regular ones due to the different factors that you have to take into account. There's more variables that can affect the mission, and one mistake by any individual can mess up the entire mission for everyone. Therefore, there are certain things that you need to be more lenient and other things that you need to pay more attention to. There are a few tricks that will help you make an experience of a stealth mission more dynamic, fun, and less frustrating, so let's go through them. While Arma 3 supports stealth to an extent, it's mainly based on the stance that the player is in and the amount of darkness that they're in. Providing enemies with flashlights is a fun dynamic way that adds immersion while being searched for, and allows players to predict the movement of the enemies. This not only makes the mission more dynamic, but it allows the player to feel satisfied as they avoid a patrol based on the position of the flashlights. This not only allows a new dynamic for players to have fun with, but it allows them to feel more clever for avoiding an enemy patrol by predicting the movement of the flashlight. Spotlights on enemy vehicles are also another popular way to add a dynamic of light detection in the game. RHS has an abundance of IFVs and BMPs that allow you to use a spotlight, which can be used creatively for scenarios when they are being searched for. Having lights over players while they're staying still or attempting to hide allows a large sense of tension. This tension allows the players to really worry for their life when they're not able to engage somebody like a BMP at the distance they're at, but they know that if they move, it will easily see them with their flashlight. This tension not only allows the players to feel more worried about their situation, but it makes them feel more helpless if they get caught. This situation not only makes the players feel more tension, but it makes them feel a bit more helpless when they're being looked at by something much larger than they can handle for that moment. Adding chem lights and flares to be used by enemies is also another fun way to use a nighttime dynamic, as enemies could very easily be using flares to either find people that they can't see in nighttime due to lighting conditions, or chem lights for ambient lighting around places that don't provide any power or are not part of a power grid. It's a good idea to use MCC to set the enemy's difficulty settings lower than usual. In order to make a more believable spotting distance for nighttime, it's a good idea to lower their spotting distance so that they don't see you from hundreds of meters away in pitch dark. It's also advisable to make the conditions cloudy, which will make the nighttime sky more dark. This allows for complete nighttime concealment. Enemies with night vision is not recommended, as it can oftentimes make the enemies see farther than they would in even daytime. This can be very frustrating for players as they can be spotted without even having any idea where the enemy could be. It also isn't fair considering that night vision for players is not really up to par to what the enemies appear to be seeing. Using an overwhelming force or a large amount of enemies that the players know they can't handle keeps them from taking an objective head-on. You want them to take advantage of as much stealth as they can before they have to give up their element of surprise. It not only makes it more satisfying, but it makes them feel like they're more capable of doing it for future missions. It's also a good idea to punish players for staying in one position for too long after doing an engagement. Making the players feel as if they were being hunted is a very important atmosphere for these types of missions. Sometimes remote controlling a unit to see if you can see them is a good idea, although even if you do see them, it might be a good idea to reward them for their patience and restraint from shooting you by not seeing them or ignoring them. Whoever is leading the operation for the players can have a huge influence on the result of the mission. That's why it's important to appoint someone who is very good at these types of missions, so that way everyone else can have a more satisfying experience. I've had many scenarios before where it's not the right people leading the operation, and they end up blowing the element of surprise way too early. Not everyone can lead a stealth mission. It takes a lot of restraint, patience, and influence for them to not only get themselves to do the right thing, but to get their squad mates to do it as well. This is why sometimes stealth missions are extremely hard to pull off, is because the leadership is not always used to that type of gameplay. It's best to do a few of these missions as trial runs, and eventually lead people into the idea of it being fun, engaging, and how to do them properly. The more you do them, naturally, more people will know what to do right. So get out there and make a stealth mission. That's all I have time for today. Thank you all for watching. And I would also like to thank A Snake from Strategic Gaming and providing me some extra footage from a nighttime op that he had made. I wouldn't have been able to get this video out as early as I have without it, so thank you to him. And I'll see you guys next time.